Ah, that's how you celebrate mothers. With a nice little Boston ass kicking. I cannot wait to fire up my Odyssey app later today. Fire Brad Stevens! He didn't grab Peyton Pritchard by the neck. I love that bewildered, stupid look on Brad Stevens' face every time that he kick his ass. He might as well pull down his mask and go.
It's pretty amazing that basketball this year, with all the talent in the NBA, I think it almost seems as if though the coaching and how you put everything together is able to withstand all of the injuries and, all of the situations where there's no continuity. And I think now more than ever, you get a better idea of who the best coaches are in the league because when you look at, what the Heat have done getting through this and what other teams are able to do with a player missing or a couple of players missing for a few games, it's like day and night.
Wiggy, why didn't he just grab someone by the neck? Why didn't he coach him up? I love it. I can't wait to fire it. I can't wait to log in and see what they have to say today. I've been thinking about it since like 4 p.m. yesterday. I've been thinking about I can't wait to fire up WEI and see what those jackals have to say up there.
How about you fix your mic?
What's wrong with my mic?
Yeah, I think his mic's fine.
I hear double.
Oh, well, you should have told me that from the jump, bro.
I couldn't. I wanted to let you have your moment.
Well, listen, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
His mic.
Design something, bruh.
Here's the funniest thing about his mic is fine.
Bruh.
His mic is fine, J Fig says. But we have other things going on.
Yeah.
And so sometimes our interaction with just us sounds like I'm in a stadium.
Ah, it's so good.
Yep,
Man.
it was.
I mean, they came out of that first half, and it was one of those things where I was like, "This is too good."
26.
That's what
I was like, this is just way too comfortable. The only thing that gave me a little bit of comfort is I know Boston has not been fantastic this year with the guts. So even though I think they did just have a 32-point comeback against the Spurs the other day, but I was just like, this is too Trevor Ariza, 19 points. It's all just going too gravy right now.
You thought somebody had to build a brick house in the second half.
Yeah,
now, I kept getting up. I'm like, oh, let me go start the grill. I got my meat all seasoned. I got the potatoes in the oven. Let me get up. And then Boston is now on a 16-5 run. I'm like,
and that Hubie Brown. I mean, he was basically there willing it. I mean, OG Heat hater Hubie Brown, even in his older age, is still rooting for the Heat to lose. Thankfully, Mark Jones was there to balance it a little bit. A little journalism, a little integrity from old Hubie.
I got to tell you though, every time they showed me a little something yesterday, because every time it got close, they cranked it up a bit. I was getting a little frustrated by the quick free to the hoop buckets they were getting in the second half.
Yeah.
It just seemed like every time the Heat scored and they wanted to score quick, somebody would just drive. And I think they did that purposely to try to put some pressure on the Heat. But the Heat just responded. Every time it got huge, they responded.
Jimmy was amazing in the second. I mean, he took one shot in the first half. He did everything else, and then
he made a three, which was amazing. When you have an NBA player, when they put up a stat,
over 15.
Last made three was on April 10th. I'm like, what?
I was trying to be discreet with it yesterday at Mother's Day because I had the phone. I was just kind of side-eyeing it. But by the fourth quarter, I was in the pool just straight up just watching it on my phone. I'm just like, whatever. Damage is done.
No, it was an early game, so
don't act like you weren't going to watch on Mother's Day. You only didn't watch because of the uniforms. You don't love your mother more than me.
Jeez.
And that's not even the whole truth. That the super spreader I was at, the Heat game was on, and so I didn't have control. I didn't have control of the remote.
I didn't go inside. Listen, I mean, I didn't go in. If it was another holiday, I definitely would have gone to my father-in-law's living room and fired it up. But I just had to watch it on the phone the whole time.
I didn't even because we were planning on eating at like 4 or 5, and I didn't even think of that. And then we did some other stuff. They got in the pool while I was getting the food ready. So while they were in the pool, I was like, well, all right, I'll sit and watch the game. And but I had a whole bunch of stuff. We had basketball going on, golf going on, and it was really no, and then once they got out of the pool, after being in the pool with the dogs and all that stuff, and then I got up to go start cooking before the Heat kept letting Boston back in it. And I looked on the couch, everybody was asleep. So I was like, oh, okay, nap time.
What else you got, Robbie?
By the way, just we talked about obviously the Heat yesterday with the big winner for the Celtics. I believe the scenario holds now that if Charlotte loses today and then the Heat beat the Celtics again tomorrow night, then the Heat will officially not have to worry about playing in the play-in tournament. That they'll clinch a top 6 seed.
I don't even think they have to worry about that. Right? I think
they beat Boston.
I think they just have to win now, and I think they're good because Charlotte lost last night.
That's right. They did lose last night, and so all the Heat have to do is beat the Celtics. But if they don't beat the Celtics, it's a 1-game lead without the tiebreaker, as opposed to beating the Celtics, and you got a 2-game lead with the tiebreaker.
No, it's amazing. Huge game on Tuesday.
Just with the Heat and the way it's been up and down and up and down and up and down. I've just taken it one game at a time because they've only been on really one run where they played well for a long stretch of time. So I just watch every game with the same mentality. Come on, let's just get this quarter, get this, because you really don't know. I mean, look, nobody knew Tyler was going to come back the way he did.
Yeah, he looked great.
Happy with Kendrick Nunn. Now he came back, which puts you in another crazy situation that you went from having no ball handlers to having a lot of them. And so, how's that going to play out? Sometimes having a lot of options makes it more difficult because Kendrick Nunn's been playing well. Tyler Hero's now coming back. He's like, wow. Like, I mean, I think was it Friday they played?
Yeah.
They played the Timberwolves.
They beat the Timberwolves. He had 27.
Right. He was really good. Now you got Gogi, so everything is starting to come together, but with all those options, right?
No, they really are sharpening up nicely. They are sharpening up, like I say, at the right time. And I mean, they haven't had that long winning streak, but really since that, that terrible end of the road trip where they lost to Minnesota on the road and Jimmy called out the team.
They haven't looked terrible.
No, they've been 9-3, and one of those losses was to Dallas without Jimmy. Now they've certainly benefited by having kind of a soft schedule for sure. Because you'd only probably look back and say, hey, the buzzer beater with Ban, that's like one to really hang your hat on. Then obviously yesterday, beating Boston on the road, but it's been a nice run. They've put a nice run together ever since the end of that road trip for sure.
Edmund?
The dead man.
I love when Dedmon hits the. I love when he hits the hook shot. Like, oh, from the past. I mean, he really did. Like he just cracked open a can of 1999 on everybody.
It's amazing that this guy was just sitting at home.
It's crazy. Right? Well, I think that's the thing. I think that the Heat front office, we could definitely say that they didn't have a great offseason. That a lot of the moves just didn't. They didn't come through, but they really did salvage this thing at the trade deadline. They really, really did.
Now the question is, can we get Oladipo back?
Yep.
Because I think his ability to change the tempo of the game, right? And then what's going to happen. Kendrick Nunn's going to be in no man's land again.
Hey, he was playing
well. We'll see. He was doing all right.
He had some big threes yesterday. Well, not that I saw the wire.
Whoa!
The game being on there.
Yeah, I already.
Damage is done.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been waiting for this. The Heat, they whooped up on the Celtics yesterday. The score only says it was a 6-point game. At one point, they're up by 26.
That wasn't a 6-point game. We allowed that to be a 6-point game. He gave him the privilege. Little backdoor 6-point game. That was an ass kicking.
But we finally have the sound. WEI losing it over last night's game.
They were talking about like sitting guys like Tatum and Brown or guys who are not playing well. Yeah, you sit DeBrusque because DeBrusque is a low-level Scrabines. You're not sitting Patrice Bergeron. You're not sitting Brad Marchand, Krejci, Pasternak if they ain't playing well. You're not sitting Jason Tatum. You are not sitting. I don't care what he does. The same way you wouldn't sit Patrice Bergeron or you didn't sit David Krejci when he had, what, 1 goal through 30 games?
Well, fine. Don't sit Tatum then, but there are more guys than just Tatum who aren't playing.
So who are you going to sit?
Anybody else. Whoever else it is.
So you sit Pritchard.
Sure.
Oh, big. Okay. What's that accomplish?
We'll try some freaking thing.
They're not a team.
And whose fault is that?
They're a bunch. I think it's the guys. I think put some of it on Brad Stevens, put some of it on Danny Ainge, fine. But it's those guys. Those guys are being paid millions of dollars.
How much does Stevens
to be potential superstars in the NBA?
How much is Stevens and Danny Ainge getting paid? Millions of dollars. Those guys get paid millions.
Wow.
Hey,
he hit him.
Wait a minute. You know the greatest thing about just sports in general?
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to qualify this with how much money these guys make, which is mistake number one. Because your value is not necessarily how much you get paid. Like, and we're familiar with this. Can we introduce you to Hassan Whiteside? Max guy. Okay. Can we introduce you to Tyler Johnson? Can we introduce you to Fiddler Crab, the OG?
Yeah, don't forget about giving 4-year deals to Deion Waiters and James Johnson.
Right. Deion Waiters and James Johnson. So you're saying because you pay the millions that they're supposed to be balling.
I think that should be a bold move. No, I think Brad Stevens should sit Jason Tatum. I think he should try that.
Oh my goodness!
You're not sitting Tatum. You're not sitting him.
And then did he go into another sport?
Yeah, he was talking about the Bruins.
Yeah, he was comparing the Bruins. Yeah.
Who is he talking to?
Bergeron.
You're not sitting Bergeron.
You notice he didn't name no black guys. He went with all the white guys on the Intangibles team, right? Even with the Celtics.
Who are you gonna sit, Pritchard? Well, that'll send a message. Oh, even Intangibles isn't getting it done. You're getting out intangible. They got Duncan Robinson. Where was Ainge on that one? Local kid. What's the matter? You didn't see anybody shooting back at the Harvard Yard?
Oh, man. I used to think it was only you, right? It's everywhere, dude. It is everywhere. Like, everybody, they are really like, if I could pass on one bit of advice to sports fans, to people talk about sports and whatever, it is this. What your team did last year has nothing to do with the next year. Because so much in sports, people just make the assumption that their team is going to take that next step. So if you get to the Eastern Conference Final last year, like Boston did and came up short, that they're just going to add a piece or two and now they can get over the hump.
So he says, put this into my veins, more Sully and grief. Dude, I just want to be like the Dolphins offensive line goes, oh, and there's those big grains falling.
I mean,
Peyton Pritchard.
Like if your sports talk show is talking about the play of Peyton Pritchard, you have already announced that your team is no good.
Yep.
Because with all the talent they have, and with all the moves that they have made, your comments are about Peyton Pritchard.
So good.
Not gonna sit Tatum.
He's not going to sit him. Brad Stevens doesn't have the guts to sit Tatum.
Grab him by the neck.
Grab him by the neck, Brad Stevens.
It doesn't mean that they're ever going to be good at it. But here's the other thing that's funny. They're not a team. Why aren't they a team?
Because of Brad Stevens. Aren't you listening?
But less than a year ago, they were in the
Eastern Conference Final.
The Eastern Conference Final.
Oh, big whoop, bubble frauds.
Like I don't know. Like, yeah, I can't get it.
Can I hear a little bit more, Robbie? Because they are now saying this is the latest gem, Leroy. Because by the way, this is
just
the
let me hear it because you spill it. I need to hear it in its true.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Robbie.
What you are going to see in a couple years is Jason Tatum pack his bags as soon as he has the opportunity when he can opt out. I think it's in his third or fourth year, whenever that year is, in like 3 years.
Yeah.
He's taking his talent, and I don't know where the hell he's going. But this team it's amazing to me that this team went from a potential, could they be the next team in the Eastern Conference that could be, making it to the finals? Are they the team that we need to watch? To now they're just the bottom of the barrel trying to squeak into the playoffs.
So when you say lack of effort,
yes,
lack of heart, lack of passion, whatever
everything.
it is that on Brad Stevens or is it on the players?
I think it's obviously on the players to give it.
Okay, thank you.
But I think the players don't want to play for Brad, so it's more on Danny, who puts Brad in that position, right? If I don't want to play for a specific coach, I'm not going to give the same type of effort that I would give a guy that I want to play for. And it isn't up to Danny to make sure, or Wick, whoever it is, to make sure the guys want to play for the coach.
I don't know. You're being
John
paid
Wick is a coach.
$25-30 million.
But they're still human beings, and they still have these emotions at the end of the day, regardless of how much you're getting paid. You still have these emotions and how you feel about, your boss.
This
is the most ridiculous. Do they realize you were in the Eastern Conference Final less than a year ago?
Well, it's on the players, but it's on Brad. But really, that's on Danny, because Danny put Brad in position. So it's a triangular thing of blame. The trigon of blame.
Can I just tell you that
where's that?
When you give a player $30 million, or $25 million, you make it harder for a coach to be able to get them to do the things that he got them to do before. And I'm not saying that this is the case at all, but for people that think that if you give a young man 20-30 million, that he just going to all of a sudden start still listening to his coach.
Oh man, I'll tell you one thing. If Pat Riley could steal Jason Tatum from Danny Ainge, that may be enough to make Riley say, I'm going to Malibu now. It doesn't get better than this. If I could just go steal Jason Tatum from Danny Ainge, I'm out.
Wouldn't look, before they even put this into people's minds, like, the only people that have players want to get the hell out of there are the three people we just heard talking.
Yeah.
Right? To say, well, how do you do it? How do you want a guy to react when you say, oh, they're not giving effort? Oh, it's on the players.
It's on the players.
They're not doing this. Right? And now you're going to get upset when the guy says, I'm out of here?
Maybe, hey, Bam, listen, if you listen to the show today, send this clip up to your boy, Jason Tatum. I know you guys are close. You let him know.
You know.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Hey, them
not a real one.
Need to be talking.
Hey, Bam, tell Jason they don't got real ones up there. They got real ones down here. Just letting you know.
It's pretty amazing how quick, because I promise you a week ago when they came back from 32, they were talking about Stones.
Probably.
I got to Tatum Stones.
This guy is the greatest thing since Larry Bird, but now he doesn't care because of Brad Stevens, who was put in position by Danny Ainge. He makes too much money.
It's amazing how that changed. Like, when you play 82-game season, your feeling for your team can't change in one game.
Oh, man, that was good.
Wasn't it last week where everybody was talking about they were the best, and once they get it together, look out. Well, I guess that lasted 5 days.
Yeah, it was a good run that they had. Robbie, let me hear a little bit from.
Here's another thing fans do. Hero and dunks for Tatum.
Robbie, let me hear a little bit of Bam Adebayo. Bam, big clutch baskets yesterday, helping the Heat carry the win over the finish line. And here's what Bam had to say about his near perfect day.
It's funny because before I got on the phone, before I stepped to Demeter, she definitely was like, "Why'd you miss one free throw?" I was like, "We won the game." She was like, "You would have been perfect on Mother's Day," and I was like, you got birthdays, you know." But I mean, it's definitely not good to not have my mom here, especially on Mother's Day. But we got her a W, so she was happy at the end of the day.
Didn't Bam's mom say she wasn't going to the bubble till they made the finals? She's like, "I'm not going for Eastern Conference Finals."
Bam got to be a Hall of Famer just to get his mom to come watch a basketball game.
Yeah, you want to? How much do you think Bam's mother texts him? "Hey, you need to be more aggressive."
Oh, hey,
3 shot attempts today, huh?
No, here.
3 shot attempts today, huh?
Hey,
oh, you're gonna go let Ariza take more shots?
She sent him a text. Still into that dribble handoff, huh?
All right. Hey, listen, Duncan's a good boy. He can get his own shot every once in a while.
I tell you what, I was glad to see a point guard do the dribble handoff.
Yep.
I think I saw who it was. Kendrick Nunn did the dribble handoff, and then they threw it back to him, and he shot a 3.
Yeah, that was a great play. Jimmy Butler, he has a couple. He's had an amazing season, but a great game from him. Obviously, he was dictating everything. First of all, this dude, I mean, the nose he has for these steals, Leroy. I mean, he is like a heat-seeking missile. Like, he sees those passing lanes and just goes and just takes the basketball right from you, like taking candy from a baby. But steals leader, Jimmy Butler, and here's Bam, who is saying that Jimmy uses players' aggressiveness against them.
Nah, when we played Jimmy in Minnesota, was it my rookie year? I was locking that up. But
wow,
nah, he's unique. He definitely has a knack for getting people in foul trouble. And you can be as aggressive as you want. He's gonna use your aggression against you. So, that just goes to his high IQ and how he's developed throughout the years to actually learn how to make somebody use their aggression against them.
I like the guy who texted Tatum is in heat culture.
Yeah. Hey,
we'll fix that. Hey, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
We'll fix that. Here's a little bit of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler saying that Tuesday is going to be a different game. You got to put this one behind him.
I mean, it always feels great to win. We take no wins lightly here. They're hard to come by in this league, especially against a really good team like Boston. It's going to be a completely different game, though. I'll tell you that on Tuesday. They're probably going to have Jalen back, and he's a huge difference maker for them. But I don't think that we close the game the way that we're supposed to or capable of either. So at the same time, we got to be better.
He's not falling for the old trap, Leroy. He knows.
He's pretty good at that. Where he may overdo it one way and talk about what they need to do, but at the same time, when things are going good, he's always the steadying force. Like, look, we need to keep doing this. This isn't, the playoffs. This isn't seeding. This is just one game, and so I hope that they're trending in the right direction.
It looks like
what I mean. I hope guys are starting to get back. The other thing is that hopefully Spo can have a week or so to at least get the rotations that he wants right.
Right. It's such a huge thing if they can get that time off.
Right. Because you got 3 or 4 guys that do the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
Tuesday night's a huge game. Like, if they win, they can, they clinch a top 6 seed and they can rest easy, maybe a little bit for the last 3 games of the season. If they lose and they're only 1 game up on the Celtics, and the Celtics,
you gotta play those last 3 so super hard.
Yeah,
it's a monster. It's a monster tomorrow for sure. It's a monster, and oh man, do I want to hear WEEI on Wednesday? Oh
my goodness!
They're playing the play-in round.
Playing Stevens. What did you miss March Madness?
You know what
wanted a tournament feeling?
You know what sucks about the play-in?
What?
Because where basketball is right now, a team can make 23s and run you right out of the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, what?
Nothing I would be scared of.
Nothing you can do it about.
Nothing I'd be more scared of than taking on Malik Monk in an elimination game.
Oh.
Well, if you're the Heat, he doesn't do that against everybody.
Yeah, he's like a 6 point game, 6 points a game.
He's like Vucevic.